The problem is that when he really pulls his combo off on you, you're pretty messed up. There you see me kind of drop in to make sure that there's nothing in that bush. I start heading towards mid because I see 3 at mid, and I want to defend. There you see a big one go down. There you see Olaf circle around trying to hit a shot there. There you see me, I have 2. Now I've built up my my big one. There you see he was just kind of boxing out. He's not really going for it. That's fine. I missed my big one. It's totally fine. Missed that one, unfortunately. There, I hit that shot. It's not too bad. Unfortunately, I'm now out of missiles. Got really good mana, though. The Catalyst is kind of nice. So I guess I should kind of discuss an interesting thing. Banshee's Veil gives magic resist. Not as handy in this particular setup. You know, they've got really good physical damages, to be completely honest. And that matters a lot. But why I get Banshee's Veil is basically Banshee's Veil will net me a very good setup against any of their CC, and that's sort of the main point that I make by getting Banshee's Veil. I understand that it might not be that useful because of how expensive it is, but it is a very good defensive item for me. You see me get caught with the snare. I'm about to die. The ult by the ult by my roommate just a tad bit late for me, but that's okay. We're about 11 to 13. Yeah, we're not doing so hot, but we're not doing so terrible. So I guess getting into early game versus mid game versus late game champs. Early game champs are really strong. Early game makes sense, hence the name. And early game champs tend to be able to net easy kills on guys. Guys like Pantheon have high base damage. The problem is as the game goes on, their damage starts to get lower and lower, and they become more item dependent. Mid-game champs. Mid-game champs are your guys that are kind of your all-arounders. They function pretty much the way that they're described. Basically, they have decent damage all the way throughout. Like their scaling is pretty balanced. But they're not necessarily the best in any particular phase, I guess. You know, they're good. They're really good in mid game. But that has a lot more to do with the fact that their item scale is kind of nice, as well. Like, you know, they get decent items. And then they usually are characters that while extremely good, here you see me just put it on the what's it called? I'm just trying to keep away, like keep away with the what's it called? Fortunately, his regen just slightly higher than my flame did. Kind of bad. That's okay. Right now, I am 8 and 4. I'm not super good. I'm not super bad. But anyway, as far as late game characters go, late game heroes get really, really strong. They're reliant almost exclusively on their scaling, or not your scaling. Sorry, on their percentages. Yeah. So I guess their what their ratios are as opposed to their actual scaling. Mid game characters have decent scaling throughout, and sort of aren't super amazing. They don't have crazy ratios or anything like that. It's kind of hard to nail down mid-game heroes exactly. It's kind of tough to explain. A lot of tanks tend to be pretty okay mid-game heroes for the most part. Just because their item setup is usually reliant on defenses, and they can usually pick up decent items about early mid. And it's not too crazy, but it's not too. It's also at the same time not anything to super write home about. But your carries, your late gamers, always super item dependent. Not necessarily the best flat numbers, but definitely the greatest ratios. Good examples of guys that are late games will be your physical carries, like your Tryndamere is probably the greatest example of a melee carry, a melee hard carry, and he is extremely dependent on trying to get decent farm and get lots of kills, but he is immensely item dependent on it for his crit. There you see me block a shot from somebody. I flash away. I'm laying down ults. Still laying down ults. So you see our Tarek kind of just playing a bizarre game with them. There you see the Urgot kind of get out of position there, and I'm just making him pay for it with the ults. And there you see our Janna pops the clarity to give us a little bit. Missed the shot on the, what's it called? On the Anasis, but we're kind of pushing him away. And here we just begin the process of literally walking through them. Here you see me just take a ton of turret shots, but barely slip away. I have Banshee's Veil back up, so it's not possible for the Blitz to grab me. I kind of relied a little bit on the Banshee's Veil. There you see our guys just take turret shots for some reason. I'm starting to port out because I'm super low. But yeah, our Olaf, not the greatest Olaf in the world, but he's not doing too bad. You know, he was a bit too aggressive on that play, but it worked. What is he now? He is 4, 6, and 9. He's a bad one. Slows her down. This is kind of a tough play here. I'm watching this as I try to come back up and around. You see me kind of adjust my where I'm moving to. So I think people we haven't seen all game, Misfortune, as a comment. Chalice, not the greatest item on Misfortune. The magic resist is kind of handy, but this is after the patch, I think, where they changed Irelia. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is after the patch where they changed Irelia and made her all about physical damage. So it's not like they have to. You actually need magic resist to stop her. Basically, you would only do that to stop the Tarek. Here you see Irelia trying to run away. There you see me spin to try and protect the Janna. Here's where things get very, very interesting, because now our Olaf's just ripping through the Urgot. And honestly, Olaf's getting tanky enough that he can kind of shred guys. It's kind of scary. That's the one bonus of playing Olaf, is that he's very, very dangerous. Especially when he's at slightly lower health, because he'll be very, very... he'll have much higher attack speed and generally be able to rip through people. Here you see Olaf still chasing after him, not really caring about anything there. And now we see them taking Dragon. Good play. See them drop the drop Dragon. Start handling the wave up here. Check the bush to my left, making sure they're not camping that bush for me. Although, to be completely honest with you, if someone was that crazy to camp that bush, that would be kind of interesting. So the one thing you'll notice, it probably would be easier to clean this if I actually bothered to use my Valkyrie, but I don't, for one specific reason. Valkyrie plus my flash means I can pretty much get away from anything, especially with the Banshee's Veil. Here you see me look at blue. I kind of hang out here trying to make a decision. And then I just decide I'm going to do it. Since I figure it's okay and I can just take advantage of it. And also, here you see me just burning missiles to get it. I also decide to give him a bit of a mischance so that I can easily just crank him. There you see me snag blue. You see Nasus at mid. Heavy duty slow. I'm moving in to help them. That's a nice ult blast to slow them down.